Today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make sauerkraut. I'm going to show you how to do it using only 2 simple ingredients, salt and red cabbage. The kind of salt that I usually use is Redmond real salts because of all of the wonderful minerals that are in it. I love using red cabbage because it has its own host of health benefits, including a special form of antioxidants that green and white cabbage don't have. Cabbage is a central part of our anti-cancer diet for several reasons. One, it's an incredible source of sulforaphane. More and more research is coming out that sulforaphane actually have epigenetic properties that are turning on the good genes and turning the bad genes off. 2, it increases the body's phase 2 enzymes, which helps with cellular detoxification. Sauerkraut itself is also an amazing source of probiotics. Probiotics in general support the immune system and reduce inflammation. 2 incredibly important things for cancer patients especially, but really we can all benefit from sauerkraut. So to get started, you're just going to need a few things. Like I said, 2 ingredients here, salt, and I have the red cabbage. I have a sharp knife, I have a pounder. You can pick up one of these guys on Amazon for about 10 bucks. I have 2 quart-sized mason jars, and do yourself a favor and get a large stainless steel bowl. This is one of the best purchases ever for all of the sauerkraut that we make. You're just going to want to rinse off this cabbage in purified water. Peel off 2 of the outside leaves, and we're not going to throw them away. We're going to set them aside here. Next, we're going to take our very sharp knife and we're going to chop the end off of it. This we can just go ahead and get rid of. Or if you're really thrifty, you can use it as a weight to submerge the sauerkraut in the jar. I actually have actual weights for this purpose, which were a great little $20 investment since we make sauerkraut all the time. They're called pickled pebbles and you can just find them on Amazon. I'll post a link. Now we're going to take our very sharp knife and chop the cabbage. And you're looking at about 1/4 inch strips here, but definitely not an exact science. Now that the cabbage is all chopped up, I'm going to take my salt here and I'm going to add salt to taste. And for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to use both of my hands and I'm just going to give it a very deep tissue massage. As soon as those juices start flowing here, which the salt will make this cabbage sweat, I'll start to try it and see if maybe it needs a little bit more salt, and I'll just keep adding it to taste. If it tastes great at this step, you know it's going to taste amazing after it ferments for a few days. It's pretty good, but I think that could use just a scotch more salt. I'm just gonna keep on rubbing. Now we have all of this beautiful brine here. The cabbage has sweat with the help of these 2 hands. And now I'm going to take it a little bit at a time and I'm going to use this here pounder and I'm going to stuff it in. The key here is making sure everything is below the brine. There's a saying that I learned from one of my favorite fermenting books. Below the brine, all will be fine. Go till about this shoulder here, where the jar starts to curve in. So now those leaves that we reserved, we are going to take these and trim them down so that they're about the width of these jars here. And then we're going to lay one on top of each jar here. This is what's going to keep everything below your brine. This leaf here and a weight. If you don't have a weight, you can always use the core, whatever you can. So then we'll just set the weight on top of that leaf there and press down, making sure that everything is submerged underneath the brine. Now for the final steps, I'm just going to take the lids and I'm really just going to gently set them on. I'll start to see it bubbling after a few days. After about 5 days, it's going to start to turn sour. Set it in a place where it's about 55 to 70 degrees. Typically, I like to do it on my kitchen counter because I can keep an eye on it. And I also like to set a plate underneath it because sometimes the power of that ferment can be so great that it actually brings the brine over and it bubbles over. So it can make a huge mess if there's not a plate underneath it. And then we'll go ahead and cover it with a kitchen towel and set it aside. After 3 days, I'm going to start trying it. I'll just pull the leaf back very gently, take out a little bite, try it, and then when it gets to the point where it's just sour enough, I will stick it in the fridge, and that will basically slow the fermentation process down, and you can keep it in there pretty much indefinitely. It is super low maintenance, so easy. 2 ingredients here. So in a few days, you're probably going to flip out because it tastes so good, and you won't be able to make enough to keep up with your family's demand like me.